Hi everyone. Today we're doing something a little bit different than my regular just gameplay. I'm going to show you a little bit of my artist's skills and build and stuff at first. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a commentary for at least the first part of my con run. And then you'll just be able to watch the rest. Alright, so first for the skills. This is the best build currently in my opinion for artists. It's very straightforward, has great utility, and yeah, it's easy to play. So drawing orchids is your branding skill. This has a branding time of 12 seconds, which is amazing. Just throw it at the boss like this, and it even ticks a bit, so it actually lasts longer than 12 seconds if the boss stays there. The downside of it is that it has some downtime if you miss it. Let's see, because I tried to spam it off cooldown. Let's say I hit this one, and though the branding time is long, the cooldown is also very long. Let's say I missed the next one. Yeah. See, now you have 10 seconds where the boss does not have the brand on it. So the key with this one is you want to really make sure you hit it like every time. Because yeah, as you see, the boss takes 10% more damage from your party. It has no like immunities. It does not have paralysis immunity and no push immunity. So that basically what that means is this skill can get cancelled by almost anything the boss does. So you really want to be safe when throwing it. And yeah, as you can see, it has a long range, so you can throw it from like really far away. So yeah, basically you just want to throw it from wherever is is very safe. This skill, Sun Sketch and Sunwell, are your attack buffs. Sun Sketch is your primary one because it has like just screen wide AoE. Sunwell is a skill that you place. So Sun Sketch is this and just goes to all of your teammates. That's your main one. And then when that runs out, you throw this one either at the back of the boss, or if it's a smaller boss, you can even just throw it in the middle. And when that one runs out, you use this again. Then you've got your counter. Both your counter and your Sun Sketch has push immunity, which is amazing. And you'll see it in my gameplay that I use that quite often to just stay close to the boss, keep gaining meter, and keep like doing my thing. Because I can just tank stuff with these. The same goes for this Starry Night. This generates a lot of meter, as you can see. Like, that's quite a bit. Let's see, let me show you again. So Starry Night gives yeah, as you see on the last tripod there, incoming damage minus 50%. That's for me, I guess, and then incoming damage minus 75% for party members. And it also gives you a shield on top of that. So yeah, it gives you, let's see how much. It's a lot of meter, and the cooldown is actually pretty good as well. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that one. Then you've got your Pouncing Tiger. This is mainly used for meter gain. This, and then for stagger and weak point, of course. The Hopper is your main shielding skill. It also gives tons of meter. You use your highest level of wealth rune on this, and you just jump on the boss like that. Your last skill is the Illusion Door, and this is an amazing skill. As you can see from the second tripod, it purifies, which cleanses teammates within a 7-meter radius. It's really useful in a con where people will need cleanses a lot if they get stuck or if they just have a high amount of stacks. This one can also be used to gain meter during like mechs or cutscenes and stuff, because you don't need a boss to gain meter with it. It gives a set amount, so there's no need to use a wealth rune on it. But yeah, you can just place these around and gain meter passively. I do this like while running during Akan Gate 1 and like during Lantern and all sorts of mechs. So those are the skills I use. Gems is very easy on this class because you just use cooldown on everything. I'm simulating event gems here because they don't show up in Trixian. But I usually just put my 8s on my attack buffs, on Sketch and Sunwell. Those are the ones that need it the most. With engravings, in my opinion, this is the build you should go for on an artist, like for sure. There's not many choices. And for stats, you want to go for full swiftness and a spec on the substat. So try to go for as high quality as you can manage with your budget. I mean, 1800, you don't really need this high, even though it's good, and your team will love you for it. Like, if you don't have the money for it, anything from at least 1750, I would say, is your goal. It really helps your uptime with all of your skills. So that's it for the introduction. Far too long, but I don't know if I'm gonna cut this down or not. But yeah, let's hop into the gameplay. Alright, so here we are in Akan Gate 1. You'll see the first thing I do is throw out my marking skill, and second, my attack buff. That's always what I do. And that's what you want to do as well. Even here, yeah, keeping the marking up in case people are greeting. So one thing you can... oh, how do I get rid of this? Oh. Well, I guess I'll just tell you instead of using my cursor. But you can see the small red sword symbol on my buff bar, usually. And that's one thing you want to keep track of during the fight. There's my marking skill goes off, first thing I do, and then the attack buff. Now you see the red sword at the bottom there. And as soon as that one runs out, I want to use Sunwell like I do here. Place it on the boss so that almost all of the classes get it. That one runs out, I use my Sun Sketch again. That's a cycle that you do all day, every day, on every raid. You go back and forth between those two skills. And I'm also using my shields all the time, doing damage buffs, using my Sun Sketch push immunity to keep going during this. And I'm ready for the stagger. I said attack buffs is one thing you want to pay attention to. Another is boss patterns. If you can learn the different counters that bosses do, it'll help your party immensely, because most of the DPS players, they're not going to be ready for the counters. A lot of them actually just use it in their rotation for damage or synergy or some shit. So supports getting counters is really important. Yeah. Another thing you want to keep track of is your team's health. As you see here, I drop a heal orb. You won't see this a lot. I don't think I drop a lot of heals during this fight. But sometimes when there's I don't know, at least 3 people who are fairly low, and I know I'm gonna get full usage out of the healing bubble, I'll drop an orb. And here you can also see me, what was I shielding there for? No, I was just using this time, this DR, to gain some meter. You also see me placing the portal, I get some more meter. And here I'm pretty sure yeah, look at me, I'll keep going. I got the 2 bubble up now. So I don't just stand around waiting for the mechs. I probably gained around 2 bubbles during that mech. And now I've got a damage buff for this phase. So marking, attack buff, identity. Yeah. Shielding so they can keep reading, and also to like gain more identity, of course. And here you can see me place a bubble. It wasn't, no one like really needed it, but I had a surplus, and I had my attack buff up for the entire thing anyway. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop a heal here. I know I can build it up during this running, because we're gonna be running for a while here. And this is where you want, even if you're on Paladin or Bard, you can just use your Awakening here. Especially a Paladin, because it fills up like 80% of your gauge. On Bard it's like, 33, but it's still good. And I would have used it on my Artist if I had had it off cooldown. But what you can do on Artist instead is you use your Portal during this, and you keep gaining like quite a bit of meter. Here I'm probably holding it because it's still on cooldown, and I'll use it after here. Yep, there we go. Because here I cleanse as well. But I cleanse the debuffs as well as gaining the meter. Just keep gaining meter, keep shielding because there's stuff going on. If you want to learn how to get better at shielding, you can just watch how much of the time during this raid my team is shielded during like attack patterns. It's actually quite a lot. This was a really good run for me, and it allowed me to give out almost all attack buffs. They're also good at dodging, of course, so it does depend on your teammates for sure. Here's another mech where you can just keep farming gauge. You see me just throwing skills at the boss, and I'm at full bubbles at the end of this, and I can either heal or damage buff straight after. All the time, keeping up the attack buff. I thought that was a counter, so I went in. And here, I think I make kind of a mistake here. I think I use a damage buff. Yep, here we go. And this is not really ideal, because if you look at the health bar here, this is another thing that's like makes a good support. He usually does the stagger mechanic, where the raid leader uses Inanna at like between 55 and 50 bars. And as a support, you really want to have your damage buff for that. So I kind of fucked up here, and I'm gonna do my best to get it up in time, but it's gonna be really tight, I think. So that's another thing you learn while playing a support, or at least that I think you should learn, is the different main damage windows basically in every fight. So paying attention to your party's health, yeah, that's important. But paying attention to the boss's health is just as important, I would say, because it decides if you're gonna have your damage buff up for it or not. So let's see here if I can get my my damage buff up in time. Here I'm like, oh no, I don't have the meter. My damage people are gonna pump. Stagger done. Oh, and there we go. So I was like a second later, because usually you want to pre-cast all of these buffs to make sure that they are up by the time your damage dealers get to work. And here I use my Awakening. This is a great way to get back-to-back damage buffs, because it fills up instantly 2 bubbles. So that was 40 bars of his health down in the matter of 20 seconds. So though we're talking about uptime, always keeping your attack buffs up, your marking, your identity, everything up at all times, what's just as important is just having uptime when it matters. So during those big windows where everyone is going to do their hardest. You can see in the chat here, at least 2 people were using atropine potions. there's usually a dark, and so for those moments, it's especially important that you have everything up. What you can see I do here is it's kind of similar to what I was doing before we went to the stairs, where I would drop heals even though it wasn't like necessary, just because I had the ability to, because I don't need the damage buffs. So I keep gaining meter during this fight. I was able to drop 2 heal bubbles in the middle. They're still there. They can be picked up. And I still have my 3 full bubbles for after. So that way I didn't like waste the meter. Yeah. Basically my party is at full health now. After that mechanic, I was able to heal during all of it. But since I was still greeting, yeah, I still had the full bubbles for after. You can see here the damage mitigation I get with the Starry Night is amazing just then. And there you go. It's that easy. What to say? I don't know if it looks easy, but you definitely get in the rhythm of playing an artist fairly quickly. The things that will take time is probably getting the counters down, and also knowing when the boss is going to phase and when you should hold your attack buff for a little bit and when you should use it. So there's tons of guides out there with there's tons of guides out there with like that shows at what HP you can anyway. Alright, so here we go for the second fight. Here we go, marking attack buff counter right away. I think I featured this clip in my support video actually. It was pretty good start to the fight. Doing this as well, you can keep gaining meter. Throw your spells at either the tentacles or the boss. And here I'm pre-buffing. Now the damage dealers are going in, and they already have the branding, the attack buff, and the identity up. That's like a common theme that I didn't stress enough in my support video. That you wanna pre-buff before Windows. I mean, even here, he's doing a mech, and I'm still using my attack buff because I know that some people will try to do damage before he goes invulnerable there. Yeah. Here's the same thing in the during the mech, as I was talking about earlier about getting meter during mechs. So on an artist, it's very nice because I'm able to spam my portal here. Sometimes if people are like close to turning, or I think I'll need a cleanse, I'll save it. Or at least I'll save one of the charges. But if there's like no real chance on that, I'll just use this off cooldown to keep stacking the bubbles. And if I had less than 1 orb at the start, I would have also used my awakening during this phase because it was off cooldown. I didn't feel like it was worth it because yeah, I had so much gauge already. So yeah, as you can tell, it's not very hard. It's pretty straightforward. Where your eyes are going to be a lot, I'll just say this again, is at that attack buff symbol at like above your skill bar. Checking that attack buff is up as much as possible. Also shielding your party and branding. I think I mentioned this in the introduction, but the branding skill gets very easily interrupted. So you want to throw it from a really safe distance because it's detrimental to the party damage if it gets interrupted because it has such a long cooldown. It's like 12 seconds, I think. the things that is going to like take some time getting used to and getting good at is recognizing or like actually paying attention to the boss's health and where you should hold your damage buff for a little bit, where you should just use it right away. And also probably the things that I was doing during that mech, just gaining meter passively, is a thing that I don't think most sports think about usually. That is pretty big. It's just like the new breaker class, for example, the Sora build. He wants to just keep using his skills during all kinds of mechs because just using the skills get meter. And that's the same with Artist's Portal and all of the supports awakenings. Oh yeah, and here actually, I want to rewind this. I want to rewind this because this is pretty. This is something I do regularly. Is trying to optimize my meter. Here I want to use my awakening, right? My awakening is off cooldown. But I think I'm going to get a little bit more gauge here. My awakening gives me 2 bubbles. So I want to get the most out of all my bubbles. So I see a couple of people are low. Well, one of them is me. The other is the soul leader. So I drop a heal and then I use my awakening. So if you have your awakening off cooldown, you see that this is a good time to use it. But I would waste a lot of the bubbles I get. Like if you have like 1.5 or even 2 bubbles. You just drop a heal or drop a damage buff if you have 2 bubbles, and then you use your awakening straight after. That way you like maximize how much you get out of it. So I drop a heal. This one wasn't really a big one. I wouldn't have like really wasted much, just a quarter of a bubble, but it's the same. It's the same principle. And the boss just sits in the middle for some reason. Yeah, let's see. I think that is. Yeah, I think that is most of what I want to mention. Another thing, yeah, I guess another thing that will take some time is knowing like when and what to shield to make your damage dealers be able to greed as much as possible. But as a general rule, you just want to keep your shield you just want to keep your team shielded as much as possible. Just at all times, basically. Yeah. I'm just gonna let the gameplay for the rest of this play. And because it'll just be the same things over and over again. I'm pretty sure I've gone through most of it. And you can just apply all of these principles in every raid, really, even though this is specifically Archon. Same things goes. Shielding, attack buff, checking your uptime, having your brand, throwing your brand from a safe distance, making sure that you will hit it, especially on your artist, because it has such a long cooldown. And then, of course, paying attention to the boss's health is going to be different from raid to raid. That's a really useful knowledge for a support, because it matters a lot. And then here we go, pre-buffing again. Everything is up by the time he's vulnerable. I fucked this one up though, because he goes straight into DR for the next mech. That stuff like that will happen if your team is overgeared. Sometimes it gets a bit awkward because you're used to a different kind of damage pacing. But I mean, yeah, you can't do that much about that. That's just experience as well. Hey, this guy. Oh my god. Was I waiting for a cooldown maybe? Anyway, enjoy the rest of the gameplay. I hope it helps. And yeah, please like and subscribe. Share it with your support friends if you have anyone that might benefit from this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Leave this area to me.
You must use a Khan's eye to see the demons. Show yourself, Dochul.
The ritual of death begins. The red moon shall rise along the path that fate has decreed.